everyone, it's Phantom and Tara, and we're back for another video riding and training tip. Previously we've talked about the pull-low exercise, which is one of my favorite exercises that I teach to every horse I touch. Remember, you're going to pick up on pressure in order for your horse to lower the head. If you haven't taught this exercise or visited the video, I'm going to provide the link below. Please go back and check it out. Make sure you have it down and mastered. This exercise is so fantastic under saddle. One of the best ways to get a horse out from behind vertical. One of the best ways to put a horse back on contact. If your horse spooks, bolts, or runs sideways, this is an excellent way to teach them to lower their head in order for them to relax, calm down, and come back to you. This is an anti-anxiety cue. It's an exercise that I go to for almost everything. I've taught this exercise from anyone to high-level dressage riders to backyard horseback riders. Believe me, this is one of these exercises you do not want to miss putting on your horse. So we're going to get started. I'm going to hop on Phantom and I'm going to show you how to get this done. So here we are, we're back in the saddle, and I'm going to show you how to get this exercise done once you're in the saddle. You're going to be asking for the same directional control that you did on the ground. It's very, very important that your hand matches and mimics what you taught your horse previously in the groundwork session. Be sure that you're not pulling back. Once you do this exercise, also make sure that you're not using two reins. You want to make sure to initially use one rein. Teach your horse on both sides equally and make sure they symmetrically match. So just for right now, I'm going to ask Phantom on the left rein. It's up to you if you want to get this exercise all the way down to the ground on one side, or if you want to switch back and forth from side to side. Sometimes I do both. So what I'm going to show you today is when I initially pick up on the left rein and I ask Phantom to lower her head in conjunction to feeling that upward pressure, I want you to see how my rein is releasing. One of the things I am also not doing is if Phantom starts bending, I'm just going to go ahead and shorten that rein pressure. Another thing that I'm also not doing is coming against the neck or coming across the neck. I don't like to initially put the rein against a horse's neck or across a horse's neck because I do not want them to use that rein as a crutch and to lean on it. So when I pick up the rein and add that pressure, I want to make sure that I just follow Phantom's head wherever she goes. Remember, they can guess 6 ways: up, down, left, right, forward, or back. And in this case, we are only looking for down. As Phantom understands the exercise that I'm looking for, and believe me, your horse will want to bend when you first pick up this rein because that's the natural reaction. Stick with it. Keep asking and make sure you take the slack out of the rein. This is one of those exercises where I will give you permission to pull slightly. Once you ask the horse to lower their head and neck lower to the point where their ears are definitely below their knees, then you can go ahead and switch to the other side. If you notice, I'm not leaning excessively forward, and I'm also not holding on to the rein pressure so that when Phantom goes down and responds by putting her head low, I'm not here holding the rein so that she hits the bit and doesn't get a release or a reward for her try. What's going to help the horse to understand this exercise is the fact that they get released and rewarded in response to when they lower their head. So initially, like I said, you're going to go ahead and raise your hand up. I like to think of it as some sort of barometer where I'm moving my hand forward and back slightly, never changing the ounces of pressure that I'm asking with. If your horse gets stuck, like Phantom did there, or if their head floats up like she is, it's almost like the helium balloon effect I talked about in the groundwork exercise. If her head starts to float upward, I'm just going to simply follow it. If I need to take slack out of the rein in order to make it feel the same to her, I'm going to do so. Most times when you start this exercise, your horse might go ahead and move their feet. If they do, it's fine. Go ahead and go with them and keep asking for their head to lower. Because their feet are moving, it doesn't change the exercise. If your horse will stand still for this exercise, it makes it a little bit easier for the rider initially. Once my horse does understand this exercise standing still, I am going to ask and add the forward movement. And in those moments, I will teach you how to add both legs to teach your horse to walk forward in response to this exercise. So you can see that Phantom is kind of what I would call stuck. She's not really lowering, she's not really bending, but they get to the point where they just become like a stalemate, like is what I would call it. So if I'm going to go ahead and pick up on that rein pressure, sometimes I'll do what you saw me just do. If she lowers her head even 1/4 of an inch, here she's ignoring me, I'm going to add that pressure. She lowered it a little bit. I might initially go back to the right side and ask her to lower again, and then back to the left. That way you're moving the head and neck just a little bit, right at the hinge joint where the atlas meets the skull. So that part of the head where you're asking for that tiny little bit of release in the tension of the head and neck is going to lower. And once she does, completely reward her for it. One of the things that I always caution my riders with is pretend that Phantom has a vase right at the pole. So Fanny, can you lift your head up for me for 1 second? And I'm gonna think about a vase being right here between her ears. That vase has to lower to the ground without her dumping it forward over by bringing her chin towards her chest, or dumping it towards me by bringing her head and ears up towards my body. I want her to lower her head and neck and keep that vase upright. So right here you can see that she still would be keeping the vase upright when she lowers her head. This is a very simple concept, but the exercise itself takes a while. I will tell you and caution you that sometimes this exercise can take a few days. Most of my clients and students will give up before they get to the point where it's really, really effective. And I always have to go and teach and tell my students all the time, you almost have it, keep going and finish it off. So if you run into an issue or a problem under saddle, go ahead and climb off the horse and make sure that the horse will, in fact, do the exercise. So I'm just going to turn Phantom's head to the side so you can see. When I pick up on that rein pressure, I want her to lower her head in response to it. Once she lowers her head to the ground and her nose is almost dirty to the point where she has it so low that the gullet is opening and all of the 3 major neck muscles in the horse's neck have relaxed, then we are seriously getting somewhere. So this exercise is a phenomenal exercise. The first step is teaching it on the ground. The second step is teaching it under saddle at a standstill. And then we will later on go over how to get the head down cue at a walk with forward movement from both of our legs. So make sure that when you ask your horse to lower their head, 1, you are not crossing over the horse's neck. 2, make sure you're going in an upward pressure. And 3, the second that they lower their head, make sure you give them a big release in response to that reward or in response to their lowering their head. And then go ahead and repeat it on both sides. Make sure you have it on the left side and the right side before moving on. I hope that helps. Once again, that's the polo exercise under saddle at a standstill. Once again, I'm Tara Jones. Thanks for watching me and my girl Phantom, and we'll be back for another video tutorial very soon on how to progress this exercise. Anyone has any issues or problems, please don't hesitate to contact me. You can email me at tarajones7@yahoo.com, and I'd be happy to answer any of your questions or even watch a video of you and your horse performing this exercise. Thanks so much, everybody. I hope you have a great day. I'll talk to you next time. We'll see ya. Bye-bye.